Netflix is now censoring WWE Raw episodes. Plus, The Rock's WrestleMania plans have been scrapped, and the Hardys comment on a possible WWE return. It's all in the Cultaholic wrestling news right now. It's been a week in which we've seen Raw make its debut on Netflix, and it looks like Netflix are already getting amongst it with the live product for people who wanted to watch it again.
Yes, so the on-demand version of the Monday Night Raw premiere on Netflix has been edited. So the live broadcast of Raw on Jan 6th aired for just over 3 hours, but the version that the fans can now watch on demand on Netflix has been edited down to 2 hours and 25 minutes, and that's with like the commercial breaks and the interviews that only aired on the international broadcast being removed, which I think makes sense at least anyway as well, you know?
Yeah, I think, obviously to clean up the show and
Yes.
make it a little bit tighter and brighter, totally.
Agreed, but that's not all either. So changes were also made to explicit language that aired during the live broadcast, with all the swearing during The Rock's promo being censored, including on closed captions as well. The chants as well of "F-U Solo" during the tribal combat match between Roman Reigns and Sikoa have also been removed.
Now, don't worry, for those who are concerned, the boos for Hulk Hogan very much remain, brother. There were some people who suggested that maybe WWE may add cheers over the top of the Hogan reaction, but no, They have left that in its full and complete form. Also, WWE were reportedly unhappy about the booing for Hogan being one of the main talking points following that episode of Netflix, but they're going to be somewhat reticent to actually change it now. Now, the on-demand version of NXT New Year's Evil, which is available on Netflix outside of the US, has also been edited. The runtime is now 1 hour and 21 minutes, and The Rock's swearing during his show closing promo has been muted also, which doesn't surprise me.
That doesn't surprise me because he was effing and jeffing here, there, and everywhere. From what I was looking at as well before we came to record this, I went onto the Netflix website here in the UK just to see what rating Netflix themselves had put up on WWE, and it was given a 12, and I was like, okay, let's have a look at what sort of like qualifies as a 12 product, and it did say that like the official thing is that any sort of effing and jeffing expletives, they are to be infrequent. And I guess with a chant like F you, and also if The Rock is just coming out there and spouting off all the naughty words, that's to be, I guess, expected as well.
I think keep them infrequent because sometimes when you're editing stuff, those harsh cuts can be really jarring. And I think it might ruin potentially the way that the show flows from there. So as long as the cuts are sort of minimal, I think we're all right with it, aren't we?
I agree, because we've spoken on news videos before about how some of these editing things can be, as you said, jarring and kind of take away from what's happening in that moment. So hopefully this was just... Everybody's excited, aren't they, in the WWE to kick things off. We can do things a little bit differently here and there, but maybe not to the extent of what has been happening, at least this week anyway.
Looking ahead to the rest of the quarter for WWE, The Rock was a feature part of Raw's Netflix premiere, but it looks as if he's not going to be part of WrestleMania 41.
Yeah, so I feel like a talking point coming out of Raw's debut on Netflix was the stuff between Cody and The Rock. It seems like that has been dropped, as we kind of saw in that episode as well, because we saw them backstage. They were clanking some little things of tequila, having some clanking. So it looks as though that storyline may have been dropped, but the Wrestling Observer confirms that plans for a match between the two have actually indeed been scrapped. When it comes to WrestleMania, The Rock doesn't actually factor in at all, with even a Roman Reigns match not scheduled, but it still could happen at an event that isn't WrestleMania. The Observer adds it's up to him if he wants and has time to go through the training camp he feels is necessary to prepare himself at his age to do the match.
One of the things they point out as well in The Observer is how the money for a match like that could lead to it be happening somewhere else, maybe in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I think that's been talked about before as well. I think the money would definitely be there for a match of that caliber to happen there.
It's arguably one of those matches that's actually bigger than WrestleMania.
Oh, I agree.
And you could put it on a whole different show of its own and make it.
Oh, you could build around.
Yeah. You could potentially put it on maybe a 5-match card with Rock versus Roman front and center of it. And I think the appeal to do that and to consider doing it that way is something that WWE had taken into consideration.
Interesting.
I think it's all money driven and it's all opportunity driven, and obviously Rock Roman, to an old school fan like you or I, it feels like it's a WrestleMania match. But then my head goes, well, the way that they're running their business at the moment, they're probably looking at that as a match that's bigger than WrestleMania.
True.
It transcends WrestleMania. So you have it as like, I don't know whether you go all the way like with a UFC or a boxing event and you call the event Rock versus Roman or Rock versus Reigns.
Yeah.
Whether you do it that, whether you make it as blatant as that, but you could do it that way. But I think that's probably where they would see that match fit in.
I think you make a good point, and I think sort of with everything that they've been doing recently in terms of the sports stuff with Netflix, then yeah, absolutely.
All right, it's been just a couple of hours since the last Malachi Black leaving report, so reset your clocks now. We observe reporting on this morning. So we talked about Malachi Black earlier on today and how many in the company believe that he is done with AEW. The Wrestling Observer reports that as well as that conversation about Malachi Black being done, which was reported by Fightful Select, Wrestling Observer also reporting that there is talk within WWE of Malachi Black returning to the company once his AEW contract expires. I feel like that's a given.
Yes, as you said earlier today, sort of when the Triple H regime came into effect, a lot of people I think were maybe had Malachi Black on the mind at that point and thought that he could potentially thrive in that environment, and time will tell.
Time will tell. We have another update on another departing AEW talent as well today.
We do. Maria Kanellis-Bennett revealed last year that her AEW contract would end in October and she wouldn't be rejoining with the company. Fightful Select offer an update today, and that revealed that AEW and Maria agreed on a short extension that runs through to the end of the month. Maria obviously has worked as a manager in Ring of Honor most recently and was reportedly open to helping with creative for AEW and Ring of Honor's women's division too.
It's a shame to lose someone like that.
Absolutely.
Who is willing to help the greater good of the women's wrestling in AEW and Ring of Honor. And
I think like some aspects, I think the women's division is perhaps one of the aspects that could do with a little bit of help and a little bit of push in that company right now, at least in my opinion.
Yes, and obviously it's something that we will keep an eye on at cultaholic.com. Now, I've got a chance to chat with the Hardy Boys this week, speaking ahead of TNA Genesis next weekend, and asked Matt and Jeff about their contract situation within TNA currently, because they've just re-signed.
Yes, Matt Hardy said their contracts with TNA will see them sticking around for a year for sure, and we might do some more after that. Matt described the new contract as a nice deal that allows us to do a lot of things. Ooh. Now, when asked about a possible WWE return, who asked them?
That'd be me.
Oh, that would be you,
That'd be
Tom
me.
Campbell. When asked about a possible WWE return by the wonderful Tom Campbell and the comments made about wanting to retire CM Punk, Jeff said he was only joking when he said that, but he also said what's beautiful about professional wrestling is that so much is possible. He added that currently he and Matt's sole focus for the next year is helping TNA as much as they possibly can.
I could see them back.
Me too. I think everybody can, for sure. Yeah.
But the general consensus of our conversation that we had was they're very focused on what they're doing in TNA currently. They very much want that to be what they do for at least the next year, helping TNA out. We spoke about a bunch of things. Asked Jeff Hardy about his delay in getting to Matt Hardy when he made his AEW debut.
Well, he had to do his dancing.
He had to do his dance, didn't he? And that became a bit of a meme. I asked Jeff about that, and you can hear what he said about that on the chat as well. We're coming up to believe it or not, the 10th anniversary of the Broken Universe being born.
Bloody hell.
I know.
That's
terrifying.
insane. That is terrifying, yeah.
So we spoke a bit about that with Matt as well. But I also spoke to Jeff about the Full Metal Mayhem reimagined match that headlined Bound for Glory. It was something that they found out about 6 weeks out. It was going to be the main event of the show. This is the match where you had the canvas, the tables, the ladders, the chairs, all painted in Hardy style. Jeff said that it was an idea that they pitched to Tommy Dreamer, got the green light from everybody involved. And Jeff said that he wants to do another Full Metal Mayhem reimagined match, next time one-on-one against somebody, in which he sings his old theme tune, Modest, to the ring. Modest at the top.
We could probably scrap that last bit. I mean, a singles Full Metal Mayhem match, 1,000%. We might not have to do the other bit.
Oh, Jeff. That's Hey, you know what? You do you.
You do you, Jeff. If you enjoy it, Jeff, and you're having a good time, that's all that
You're
matters,
having a good time, then we're having a good time. Maybe. You can hear the full conversation with the Hardys, the legendary Matt and Jeff Hardy, exclusively chatting to us here at Cultaholic. It's on the podcast feed right now. And for the very latest wrestling news at any time, you can check out cultaholic.com. Keys.
Love you, bye.